Hi there, it's Carl Irwin. I'm a composer and a music educator, and this is a tutorial on composing to picture, writing film score to picture inside of a digital audio workstation. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a short film, and I'll talk about the source for the film, which I'll make available here. What we're going to do is we're going to take a short film and we're going to hopefully over the course of the coming weeks compose different types and styles of film music to this one clip and kind of demonstrate the various ways in which one might go about composing to picture in different manners and styles. And we're going to work out of a digital audio workstation. We're going to work out of a notation application as well. And we're going to use various types of instruments and styles to achieve it. So we're going to kind of work in reverse. We're going to start with the more contemporary variation right now. And this is in the very contemporary style of soundscape music. So just this year, the composer Volker Bertelmann won the Academy Award for All Quiet on the Western Front. And this film score is very soundscape oriented. It has really just pitch collections, not really a melody, not really a tune, not really rhythmic values. There are some repeating sounds that happen that sort of have a rhythmic quality in that they repeat, but there's no musical rhythmic quality to them. And it's all soundscape. Although it's not soundscape in the sense that the sounds are native to the picture, they're very foreign. You're watching a period war movie, and the sounds that you're getting are extremely electronic and otherworldly. And that's what we're going for here. So very simple. We're just going to use one instrument and a few iterations of it, just a simple synthesizer. The picture that we're going to use is a short film that's actually created from video that is royalty free from Pixabay. So if you're looking for short films or footage to compose to, and you want to be able to share it without violating any copyright, highly recommend going over to Pixabay, searching under their video library. And you can actually create your own short film by taking, small clips per minute. You get about a minute or two of picture, and then you can compose to that. You can do sort of nature documentaries, people walking around. Not really any dialogue or anything like that, but you can, as you'll see here, kind of piece together from different pieces of footage. You can piece together sort of a narrative that you can score to. So I'm going to share this one that I put together. Let's take a look at it. We'll watch it. And what I've done is in the workstation, which I am using Ardour. I will say this now as one of these first tutorials I've done on this channel. It does not matter what digital audio workstation you use. It does not matter. Assuming that you're watching this because you are personally creating projects, you're not working with a studio, you're not doing heavy collaboration. If you're not collaborating with people, you don't really need to use specific software to create. Even if you are collaborating, assuming that your collaboration will involve final renders rather than files, rather than work files, you really can use any software that you want. You don't have to use Logic, you don't have to use Cubase, you don't have to use Pro Tools, you don't have to use anything in particular. I work out of Linux. I've worked out of Linux for over 10 years, nearly 20 years now. And I use Ardour. That's what we're going to work in right now. And this is a cross-platform digital audio workstation. It is open source, free to use and to compile on your own. You can also pay for a pre-compiled version of it if you want to. If you're on Linux, there are pre-compiled repositories that don't cost anything. But there's plenty of other digital audio workstation platforms out there that you can use on any distribution many of them are free. And it does not matter. What you're looking for is, does it have the capability that you need? So let's take a look at this film. Again, this will be made available to you to use if you want to. So because we're going to score this in multiple styles, we're going to go with a war kind of film. And the reason why this works is because you can write very gritty synth music, atmospheric music. You can write more classical orchestration, and everything in between. So that works and has been done for these types of films time and time again. I have the audio for the film on a track, separate track up here. You don't need to do this, but it can be nice to reference the audio so that you know what instrumentation you're matching up against the picture. Okay, so that's the picture, and again, I pieced together multiple clips that I found on Pixabay, and I created that. So a little bit of jerry-rigging going on with some of the clips where you can mirror them on the x-axis, and then you get a different shot. Also, this was all shot day, so these are real military exercises with a couple of different military sources there. And what we did is it's shot day, but then I turned it day for night, using a number of filters to make it look a little bit more like a Twilight Night sort of scenario, so a midnight raid of some sort. So that's what we're working with. Let's get things organized, and then we'll start writing some music. So the first thing we want to do for this style of pictures, first of all, I'm going to mute the track up here, and so we're not listening to the audio for the video. I have loaded already a instance of ZynFusion. ZynFusion is the current version of a Linux open source project. I believe it's open source, or at least it used to be, called Zynad Sub Effects. And it's a really, really powerful synthesizer. It is free and native to Linux, but there are many synthesizers like this. So you can use really just one very robust synthesizer, and it may be the only synthesizer you really ever need, especially if it has a lot of presets. There's, I think, a lot of suggestion out there that the only good synth sounds are the ones that are formulated and created by the composer. There's a whole generation of composers through the 80s that really relied only on presets on synthesizers. So I think there's nothing wrong with using presets, and certainly a good synthesizer will give you a lot of presets to choose from. So we're just going to use presets here. We want to have some kind of atmospheric background sound, so let's see what we can find here. Maybe a pad sort of sound. Let's see if we can find something here. Pad. And let's just try a couple options. So this is just a sine wave. So maybe if we just drone, I'm just going to use C, F sharp, C, which is the tritone relationship, gives a great deal of dissonance, but also it gives an open spacing so that there's a lot of space between the intervals. Whenever you're working with this type of music, which is soundscape-like, you're going to be working in intervals, not chords. You're going to be dealing with intervals between notes and pitch collections, but not necessarily a chord progression of any kind. So we want something that's unsettling, and we'll just lay down kind of an atmospheric pad. Okay, let's put something down there. So I'll come back here to our edit view and watch our picture. Will be streaming down here. Now I have the picture offset to the second measure. Gives us a little bit of time, a little lead in, and we'll arm this for recording. Arm for recording, and we'll hit play. Okay, so what we're doing is we're just going for a couple of hits, places where you might hear that underlying sound jump in after a cut, but we don't want to hit every single cut. I think that's a big no-no. We refer to that as Mickey Mousing, whenever you're making a change on every single cut. So if you're adding a gesture, a musical gesture to every movement, every motion, every cut, it becomes very cartoon-like. So you want to hit some cuts, but not every single one of them. Certainly, we're going to want to pay attention to this title, I think, at the very end. So when we hit the title, we'll want to be able to jump to that. So keep that in mind. Okay, so let's find another sound here. And we'll open up our instance and find a different sound. Let's find kind of our hero noise. And very much like that Bertelmann score, let's find something that really stands out for a simple pitch collection. We're really emulating this concept here. Let's try this. So this is kind of a brass sound. You really hear that reverb that we have everything plugging into. So yeah, let's try this. And we'll use that same pitch collection down low, C, F sharp, C, this tritone relationship. You hear that decay on the reverb. Very on the nose. This is emulation at its best. Might actually use my pitch wheel on this too to distort the pitch a little bit. There we go. We have a second sound. Let's try to fill this in a little bit with some more sounds. We'll add another track. And we'll add another instance of our Zin Fusion. And again, we want this to come to our mix down where we have our reverb. So let's find some kind of intermediate sort of sound. Maybe we'll go to noises. Ooh. All right, let's use this one. We may come back to more of those sounds. We'll arm this for recording. All right. Make sure we're saving what we've done. And let's find some more intermediate sounds. We'll come back, maybe one of those bass drum sorts of sounds that we had before. And we'll add another track. Let's look at some more of these noises. Let's use this one. Okay, let's add another one. Try some more of these noises here. Keep coming back to this one. Let's add this kind of explosion sound. All right, we'll arm it. We're going to use this one a lot more. All right, maybe one more sound. We'll do one more kind of interesting sound to use for kind of fill. So let's try maybe this wind noise. Maybe we'll do that. So this pattern of 3, and we'll use the same notes even though it's not really giving us pitches. We'll kind of keep to that. It's good to have repetition even if it's of an ambiguous sort, right? It's a repetition that's sort of rhythmic, but it's not really musically rhythmic. It's just there's 3 things happening, 1, 2, 3, sort of in that tempo, with regularity, but not consistently. Okay, the one thing I don't like about it is this sound here. That clack sound is a little loud. The other sounds are good. I like where they're at, but this clacking sound's a little loud. So what I'm going to do is bring this down. And then the explosive sort of sound, I want to bring that up a little bit, that kind of ongoing pulse. We're going to mix this. Now, we're not mixing really for stereo here. That's, you know, a little bit more in depth. You can, of course, set pan here for different instruments to get things kind of spatially placed, but we're being very vague here in our design. So we'll bounce this out, and then we'll take a look at what the final product looks like. So you can see what you can do in this kind of contemporary sound, which, I mean, in a sense, it's incredibly easy to accomplish. I think that the value in the contemporary soundscape sound is really in intentionality. Are you doing everything intentionally, and is it apparent upon viewing that things were not just haphazard, but that there is intentional application and repetition going on, intentional use of specific sounds, sounds that seem to relate to specific moments in the picture that recur. I think that's really where the value is at, and that's how someone can win an Academy Award writing a score like this, is that there's apparent intentionality to it, and it's very obvious in the viewing, and it is effective as well. So that's very important, to try things until you find something that seems inevitable and effective, and then make it work. So this is the first type of scoring. Very easy to do, but put some thought into it to kind of find that je ne sais quoi, that thing that can't really be described, that intentionality that gives it value. And there you have it. So good luck with that. Happy mixing.